noise, yeah. What? Yeah. That's the plus. That's our yeah.
This is the first time I see it working actually.
Really?
Yeah. Oh man, this is wow.
There you go. It does a lot more than this. This is just 10 minutes of patching, right? 15 minutes of patching. But I can tell you what's going on. Yeah, it's pretty sparse. This is how I begin usually, right? I start something like this. Then I add a lot more and it gets too cacophonous, right? Too much noise. And then I start pulling it back. So I start gating it so the different sounds come in at different times. It's some variety, but it's, yeah. So this is about 15 minutes. So the way it works, when I give the talk in class, you guys, there's no volume control because it's powered speakers. That's one of the problems. There are many volume controls. But the way it works is that you have to patch everything, right? And I started just with this oscillator over here. That's making the bass now, right? This is just a sine wave oscillator. And it's a VCO, so I can control the frequency as I want. And scatter course is a ramp. This is the triangle, which is a little bit smoother. Here's the sine, very pure. You get the pulse wave, which you can then change pulse wave. So that's a basic analog oscillator that you see in a synthesizer. But you can also change the frequency. So that's the sequencer. That was a mistake. And it worked, kind of. What I wanted to do was more like this. So that's a super random sequencer. And I can adjust the pattern by the switches or the knobs, right? I can adjust the voltage levels with the knobs. But I had it down low, and I had it on the AC coupled output, which is a capacitor, right? Gives kind of a lag. And as a bass, it gives kind of a drum and bass techno feel, right?
Yeah.
And I can adjust the complexity, so I can flip a switch, and now it's more complicated. And even those switches, you can switch electronically if you want, right? I have to go through some other circuits, but I can grab an output and then feed it back and turn it on and off if I want. So that's that. I can turn that down here. So we can adjust that more or less as we want. And then I played with a rhythm. I've got a cheap drum machine here. It's like a little chip that just does drum patterns. We used to sell at Radio Shack actually. And I built a whole module around it. And that's making the kind of pseudo percussion sound. So that normally sounds like this. But I can take that sound, go through this. This is actually a frequency voltage converter, but it squares off the waveform. It has to divide by 2 in it, and that has a fairly complicated sound. So this is, sorry, that's the DC output. This is what this sounds like. A little bit more interesting. And of course, I can turn these down, turn up the mix, do lots of things here. All this, much more interesting.
It's not synced yet.
What?
That's not synced.
That's the drum machine, but I'm driving the clock in the drum machine through the sequencer, so in principle, it should be related in time. Probably not, because I have to tweak it more, but it could be. I could have it slaved. And then I'm taking, that's kind of nasty, so take the output through a filter. So that's a filter from a filter. And once in a while, when one of the drum voices hits, I just kick the filter. It gives you that. Right? Of course, I can do lots of things to that too, change it, but you get the basic idea. Then I played with kind of the melody voice, if you want to call it that. That's this. And that's essentially I've got a low frequency triangle wave, just an LFO making a triangle wave, and I've got a clock almost at the same frequency, and I'm feeding the triangle wave into a sample hold. So right, it's the waveform it's sampling, and I'm clocking it at close to the same frequency, but it's beating. So you're crawling up and down the side, the triangle wave. That's how it's going up and down. And the phase is a little bit shifting because they drift. So once in a while you'll hear it slower, faster, changing. And then I hang the triangle. I can just show you what that sounds like too. So that's coming out of an analog delay. This is coming out of the filter. So I'm holding it. Now it's sample hold. Going into the filter, something sounds like this. That's just a ramp width. Coming out of the filter is more interesting. I'm modulating the filter with random noise. And I can increase that too. More gritty. So that gives it kind of a percolating feeling. But this is too much in your face, right? Recognizable as an analog sound. So we just hide it with an analog delay. Once in a while I'll hang the clock. So the clock will just hang and the sample hold will hold a note. So if you go to the analog delay, it sounds a little more haunting. See, this is it's a little slapbacky, but I can control, I sweep it.
So that's a delay with feedback?
Yeah. Let's get feedback, control the feedback. And I can control, I clock it too. Yeah. I'm clocking a little more. So you're hearing some little bit of pitch shift as it moves up and down, the delay changes. But that's still a little too much in your face. So I'll just turn down the control. So it's more gurgling in the back. But that analog delay gives it a retro, kind of reverb feeling. So that's what's in this. You can do lots of other things. Let me stop it. And I can show you some of the things we talked about. This is the pseudo-random sequencer, which is one of my workhorse modules. And you can clock it low, so it's just making voltage levels. They're all summed out here at the output. And that will just give me some clicks. So no big deal, unless you like glitch music, which you can certainly make money off with this. But if I change the clock so that I'm clocking it faster, and I'm clocking it from this, actually it's clocking from audio. See, that's the thing, you have to remember where your chords are going, right? And they can fall out, so you have to be careful. So I'm clocking it with a clock. Let's not clock it with a clock, let's clock it with an oscillator to be pitched. So I can make a digital waveform. So it's basically a sequence, it's a very long sequence, and I'm controlling the stages like this. So I can get my kind of digital sound and make it more or less complicated. So that's almost noise. If I keep the clock, that's sounding a little bit like noise. And one of the fun things I like to do is exclusive oriented bit to change the sequence that it's doing. So here I've got a bit. So it's this weird kind of trill. So you can take that and you can go through filters, you can do what you want with it, it's a lot of fun. The other thing I like are face lock loops. I told you about those. So I don't know what's going to do to the output of this because it's so complicated temporally, but if I go with a sound, let me just start with an oscillator. There's an oscillator here. And I can use one that's a little closer. Like this. You can hear it here. In principle, we can hear it here. That's an oscillator. And I can go with, let's say, just a simple square wave into it. To change it. So if I take this whole thing I don't need to make it that long. The beauty of these jacks is I can stack them. I told Donald I would have gone for banana plugs probably, but I've done it now because they hold in better. These start to wear out after a while. But, okay, here's my oscillator. Right here. Then I can modulate it with something simple. Here we go. Let's just take a binary divider that I can drive with a clock. I'm just adding all the bits, right? Just repeating. But I can take that sound, slow it down a little bit. And then I can use my phase log loop, which is over here. And drive it with, it's working. In principle, it should be. Drive it with the oscillator. There we go. A little bit irritating. It's not tracking. Yeah, now plugged into it. So the phase log loop's tracking that little sequence. But I can make it track fast if I want. Slow. So it's struggling to track. I can make the damping less so it's kind of noisy. Right? I can make it kind of weirdly chaotic. So this is an interesting sound. I love to play this on keyboard actually. You can do all kinds of fun things with it because it locks on notes differently and it's just fun to play. And then you can go through a filter with that if you want, right? That filter works great. So here's one. Just take the low pass output, which is what people usually do. The input. So it's that, right? And then we can have another oscillator to adjust this. Here's a little electrode bearing in here. Probably wants to be slow. This should be tracking this triangle wave. Principle. Maybe I reverse it. No, it should be okay. Again, it's been a while. Not everything is going to work like it should, but you get the idea. And that oscillator there is just irritating. So we can do something with it, like probably pitch, right? This can be driven off this. This can be driven off our little counter too. So it's doing something. You make it do something much better than this. You get the idea. And then I can actually, instead of blocking this randomly, I can block it with a counter bit. What did I just pull out? Not what I thought. It's still working though. That's okay. So, yeah, this is not what I want. So it's changing the timbre every so many bits, right? Maybe even more. You can adjust the waveform. And then I've got this, it's almost like a jazzy thing. Yeah. And then I've got this thing here, which is Casio. Right, it's just one of these things, which everybody knows. And I can take outputs from this and Oh, I can actually record notes, right? Because this is an instrument keyboard. So that's just sloppy, but we got something. And then you can step through it, right? Because this is doing what it always did. Where's the step button? I can clock it, right? Take it over. So why not have our little counter that's doing all the fun things here? Just clock it. So see the idea, there's serendipitous signals everywhere. And I can just grab them, combine them, have them do things. And of course this is a schlocky Casio. But I can take intermediate outputs from it, like this one, and go into something like a digital rate multiplier. So you can see it's clocking there. And I can take that output and we can listen to it. It's going to be loud. Yeah, it's too loud. So we got to use a mixer. I've got mixers everywhere. Here's a mixer. So here. That's the Casio. Not that, again, I'm not doing anything deliberate. But we can feed a bit from this counter into the rate multiplier. Let's see here. So this should be toggling this bit, but it's not. It's probably this. So it's changing the timbre every note. Of course, it also does this. Yeah, it's a slot button. Let me turn this off. It's a little more interesting. And then I got this keyboard, which actually you probably recognize as the Holy Drug Couple uses one just like this. That's very similar. And it plugs in here, and it makes a nice sound. Yeah, I did a few things on it. Yeah, these are great. They're the first digital keyboards for the home, really. And it's got nice sounds if it works, which it should. Actually, I don't have the audio plugged in, so you have to hear it with the speaker. So if I select, for instance, the organ, so there's an organ, sustain, so on and so forth, it just works. But yeah, who needs that sound? I've got this cable coming from it that takes all the bits and mixes them according to how I want to mix them. So I can take that beautiful thing and make it sound like this. Whoops, no, come on. Are you plugged in? So it's a really overdriven sound. I can play with it. And if you play with the sustain, it does stuff like this. Really kind of interesting. And if I select the piano, when it decays, it's got these beautiful trills. That's the decay of the piano, the higher order bits coming on. So, got to sustain that here. And some of them do even weirder things. Cello. So again, this is a beautiful little keyboard, and you can, if you put a filter on top of that, it actually sounds pretty good. So I love to play this with a pedal and a little bit of echo. It's very psychedelic lead that way. It's a lot of fun. So there are lots of things. I guess the chaos generator and the beeps, right? You guys remember the beeps. This is one of the weirdest modules. I used to read surplus electronics catalogs, and they'd have all the weirdest things showing up. One was little circuit cards that made the alarm sound for like every booger alarm or alert sound on the planet. So I made a module that's so here, this is so it's all these things.
Is it like FM synthesis, or you're
That's
have
just
them as
what
samples?
they do. Those are those little. It's FM essentially. You're right.
Okay.
It's what the cards do when you buy it. It's just a few transistors, but I can control it electronically, right? Because I get a logic switch, and I can use my. Let's run this thing as a sequencer now. If I turn the clock down, where's the clock? It's over here. There.
You know all these plugs by heart?
You remember. This is a synth. I'm just doing stuff quick here. If I do a real patch, some of you have seen that. For about a week, I'll remember where everything is, and it's delicate. Really, I'll do a piece, and it's really sculpted. This is just playing around. But that's how you start, right? You play around, get some ideas, and then you work on them. So it takes about a day to get something that's serious. Sometimes in a few hours, you can do something good if it's a simple idea. But here's this, and in principle, I should be toggling this gate, and I'm not, which is a little alarming. Uh-oh. Just because I lost the audio? No. Oh, it's because it's on this side. It is stereo. So here's the burglar alarm. And it's a stereo, so here's one side. Here's the other side. If you use it in small doses, have it come in the background, have it subtly, there was a lot of echo. If it's in your face, it has a meaning. Then there's the speech generator, which I use a lot. That's kind of unique on this box. I don't know how many modulars have them. Although now they have everything. There we go. So that's an old Voltrax SE01 speech generator. I can feed it bits. I've got bits in my hand. These are all bits, right? And I can just plug them into the selectors. Every one of these switches, by the way, if I hit it up, it inverts. It doesn't just turn on or off, it inverts. So I can key in all kinds of different effects. So here's the inflection bit. So it's talking, and I can control what it says with the feedback. Right? Make it very simple. It should be very simple. It's repeating. As it should be. So very simple pattern. And then of course I can have fun with this too. I don't have to use the linear output. I can use this discriminated output. So that's very useful if you put it through a filter, right? I do this a lot now. I used to use the speech generator just kind of as a speech generator, but now I just like to distort the hell out of it and have it come as weird speech you can have recognized. And if I do it this way, so this is the filter. A little bit of resonance. So that's already kind of a vocal sound. And I can drive this, for instance, off an envelope generator. Somewhere I have many of them. Where do I have my envelope generators? I used to know by heart where everything was. It's been so long since I really used it that I don't remember. Something says ENV. But I got one here. I can use this one. So here's the envelope follower over here. And this is the control, so that should be the output. And then I can take the input and just have that be anything, but let's want to have it be the speech generator because it's effective. I could have that actually be the actual speech output. So instead of the discriminated one, it's the real one. And then this would be this. Volume. Now, what is this coming from? Input is here. Oh, it's the percussion is doing it. That was the drum generator. So here. So the thing is, kind of talking, and I put that through a lag to make it even more interesting. So I'm lagging the control for the filter. Ports here. So let's get more of an envelope to it. And then I can bring the filter down. I'll have to say other things. So anyway, you can do all kinds of stuff.